Welcome to Crossbody of Work. My name is Evan.
I am Javier.
And today we finish off our three-part series on the big red machine, the devil's favorite demon, your least favorite mayor, Kane. Yes, for those of you watching on YouTube, Javier just did Kane's little pyro taunt.
I wish I had a popper. I would let that go.
For those of you who are joining us for the first time, again, thank you for starting with something that says part 3. I appreciate you. You are a wild card. Normally, we cover a wrestler through 5 of their most important matches, but for certain special people, they get 3-part episodes because they have had long and storied careers, and Kane is one of those people.
Yes, sir. Now, think about the people starting now. Do you think it's because they're like, yeah, May 19th or whenever that day is for Kane, I really like that version of Kane best, so I'm going to start with that.
I loved ECW champion Kane, and I want to talk about it. We are covering from Kane's Unmasking in 2003 to the present day. So about 20 years, light work, no reaction.
Chilling. I mean, Kane hasn't had a match in like 5-6 years.
No, Kane's last match, I believe, was in 2021. Because he was in the Rumble. He was in the Rumble.
Oh, I don't count that.
His last actual match was 2019. Yes, which was for the 24/7 championship.
That doesn't count either. Jesus.
Then his last match is the one that we definitely don't want to count, which is the Brothers of Destruction versus DX at Crown Jewel in 2018.
Talk about a bad match.
Ooh, it's a bad time. So we are going to talk all about Kane, but also it continues to be June. Happy Pride Month to everybody. Because we are covering Kane, who's had some bad things, like voting against a mask mandate back in 2020. Boo. Because of that, we are going to be donating money for each episode during Pride that covers Kane. And this week we donated money to the Trans Lifeline, a great organization, a wonderful website that helps trans folks who need assistance. So shout out to Trans Lifeline. The link to donate is in the show notes and is in the description of the YouTube video. Great stuff. Happy Pride. It is great stuff.
And shout out to Pride.
Yeah. So we're starting right with Kane's Unmasking. Our last match that we covered last week was RVD and Kane teaming up against the Dudley Boys. So Kane unmasks pretty soon after they lose the tag titles to your favorite people, La Resistance.
Oh yeah, a match we've covered on this podcast.
We have on our Rene Dupree episode. So after that, which was at Bad Blood, Triple H offered Kane a spot in Evolution, which I forgot.
I wasn't watching. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I forgot that was a part of the whole storyline.
You know the thing people do where they hate watch something?
Yes.
Like a buddy of mine had that with the 13 Reasons Why show.
Fair.
I just hate watched it all the way through. I would do the opposite. I would hate not watch Monday Night Raw during the Reign of Terror.
That's fair. So Kane rejected the offer. And then Stone Cold offered Kane an opportunity to face Triple H for the World Heavyweight title if Kane rejected the offer. So he did. But then Eric Bischoff put a thing that if he didn't win that match, he would have to unmask. And so that was in Madison Square Garden. It's the June 23rd, 2003 episode of Raw. We get to see Kane's hideous face.
Yeah. Kane loses to Triple H.
Yep.
Has to unmask, obviously.
By cheating.
Yes. But, I mean, which one of us does not cheat when we come to wrestling?
Me. I am a white meat babyface.
Yeah, okay.
I am the Otis in this team.
You are the definition of pulling tights. Triple H attacks him. Evolution. Just for some reason they decide to jump him. Just absolutely no reason. He's clearly in the midst of taking.
He's about to unmask, and they're like, "This is taking too long."
Yeah, RVD makes the save. They fight everyone off. Chokeslam to Orton. 5-star frog splash.
I have one thing to say about RVD making the save. Actually, I have two things. One, he looks like Matt Riddle. That's fair. It's the vibe. It's the look. He looks like Matt Riddle. Two, RVD's offense does not lend itself to saving people because he sets up elaborate kicks, and it's like he does the step over Insiguri thing. What are we doing? Just punch him.
Yeah, but it's Ric Flair. He's slow.
Just punch him in the face.
My favorite thing about RVD is whenever he's not wrestling, if you see him, he just has like his own T-shirt on, like his merch shirt, and a pair of jean shorts.
Yeah,
every time.
I bet if we could like make him appear right now, he would have that on. He would have that shit on.
What am I got? It's either that or it's like the merch for his like weed or whatever.
Yeah, but it's always merch, which is rich. Look at us. We're hawking the merch right now.
uh,
You can't
Kane's
see
gonna
that I have
do
jorts on.
Kane's gonna do the fire spot.
Yeah.
But as he has his arms up, he like comes to a little realization that he's got to take his mask off. So he slowly lowers his hands. He's like, "Fuck!" He starts hesitating. He does eventually take the mask off. He choke slams RVD, and then he does his little fire spot. Evan, I'm gonna let you describe what Kane looks like.
Okay. You ever seen the bit from Little Rascals where somebody puts their eye in the tailpipe and then the tailpipe goes off of the
Damn right I
jalopy?
have.
Yeah, he looks like that, except if that when that happened, it also blew off the front half of his hair.
It's an
'Cause
insane cut.
it turns out that Kane's hair is part of the mask, except for the back half. He's not balding. He just has half of a head of hair. It's not loaded yet. Like it's
Do you think
it's
he did it
loading in.
specifically for the reveal?
Yes. How
Like just
fucked
cut off part of
how
the front?
fucked up would it be if your boss is like, "Hey, we need to make like you're supposed to have scars all over your face, which you don't. So we need you to look really fucked up. Can you just shave the front of your hair?" And he's like, "What do you mean the front? Like just take a line by your ears and just
The
shave
inverse
everything up here."
the inverse Ronaldo, so to
Yeah.
speak.
He's got what amounts to black soot on his face.
Yeah.
Commentary is making it sound like he's hideous. He's just dirty.
I mean, listen, let's just say not the most attractive of men.
I say that I have this in my notes later, but I'll talk about it now. You know what's really working in Kane's favor? He's got little teeth.
What?
Like when Kane smiles,
What?
his teeth do not fill up enough of his face. Like they're all really little. And like if he got veneers, he'd be fucked. Like he'd
I
look way too normal.
have zero idea what this means.
Look up
What?
Kane.
How do you
I want you to
know
ruin your search history and look up Kane's teeth.
Kane
I-
teeth?
He's got little teeth, and it just works with his because he's got a big head. It works. It doesn't fill the rest of his face out.
A lot of Harry Kane in here.
Kane wrestler teeth.
I don't know. He's got very boxy teeth. But yeah, I
think
guess they're a little short. I don't know.
They're short.
I don't know if they're like that much bigger than mine. You know, I consider myself to have
Yeah,
small
but I'm
teeth.
not. I'm not 7 feet tall. I think I got regular sized teeth for my
Hey,
face.
but like his head is just like his teeth are probably bigger than your teeth.
That's
just
true,
for the
but
simple fact that he's like 7 feet tall, so his
but they're
head's
not-
bigger.
But they're not big enough. And for a former dentist, I expected better.
Hey, whoa, what do you mean?
Commentary like does not pivot yet, but eventually they pivot to say that well, the scars in his face are mental, and he thought he was burned the whole time. Part of the appeal of Kane when he first came in was that he had been lit on fire, and like they had Inferno matches, and he had
Well,
first
he was
blood
lit on
matches.
fire.
Yeah, and now to be like, by the way, that was all in his head. Like, what is this? The ending of Lost? Like,
In
go
my
away.
head, I see
I'm sorry.
you
I'm sorry.
all over me.
A Jason Derulo reference? We're like 8 minutes in. How dare
Okay.
you? How dare you immediately be dropping Jason Derulo references?
Well, you fucking you put me in the spot. You can't just tee me up like that.
After the unmasking, Kane went nuts. He set
Sure.
Jim Ross on fire, which that makes some good barbecue. He attacked Linda McMahon, which led to a feud with Shane McMahon where he electrocuted his testicles.
More on that later.
More on that later. He interfered in a buried alive match between Vince McMahon and The Undertaker and helped bury The Undertaker. And then in January 2004, so that was in, I believe, November at Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble 2004, he was in the Rumble match, and then all of a sudden, the bell tolled. And
He was like, "Oh,
oh, no.
no,
Do you remember who
I
eliminates him?
buried you.
Do you remember who
I
eliminates him?
buried you." Is it Schnitsky?
No, it's Booker T. Which is weird,
like it.
right? This is Booker T.
Isn't that the same WrestleMania where Booker T and Edge have a match over a shampoo commercial?
They really wanted to have the shampoo commercial. So then Undertaker would taunt Kane from beyond the grave and would return in his dead man persona at WrestleMania 20. So that's our next match is Undertaker versus Kane, WrestleMania 20. I thought about it, and I remember young Evan, 20 years ago, how hyped I was for WrestleMania 20. This was my second most hyped match. This was the match I was like, yes, I was so in because Undertaker, when he was the dead man, was when I first started wrestling, right? And he was coming back, and my brother was like, he's gonna come back as like the original Dead Man Ministry of Darkness, like that scary. I was like, that's awesome, like that's gonna be so cool. The only match I was more excited for, obviously, was Eddie Kurt. Like those are two of my favorite wrestlers of all
Yeah.
time. Like that I was just really
I was
invested.
excited for Eddie Kurt and Big Show Cena.
Yeah, like this does not live up to the hype I had.
Here's the thing, though. It's not that it's a bad match. I think it's fine, actually. They just didn't get enough time.
They didn't get enough time. It's like 9 minutes long in terms of actual in-ring action.
But like, I thought it was fine. Honestly, I've always like remembered this as like, oh, this match sucks. It was not good. Like, everyone always shits on it. But honestly, watching this, like, I was like, I don't know, this is fine.
It's not the most
Just
disappointing brother
short.
versus brother match at WrestleMania because that's the Usos.
It's even worse, obviously, because it's WrestleMania. But like, I don't think they got enough time. One, you give them the amount of time that the Usos got, it would have been so much better.
God, that was a long match.
Yeah, for no reason. Here's the thing, though. It's not their worst thing with each other. Like
What's
the
their
feud
worst
in
thing?
2010 fucking sucked. That was some of the worst. That heavily contributed to me a couple years later just bouncing for a few years.
That's fair. I also want to say that like clean head Kane, like no hair Kane,
With
scariest version of
the
the fucked up,
contacts.
yeah, contact lenses, scariest version of Kane you can get without mask.
Yeah,
100%, it
I
works.
was terrified. First off, scariest version of Kane, period. I wasn't a child in 98, 97 when he debuted,
Yeah,
but like I was in 2003. And not many things scared me. Like it was the original Halloween and the original Amityville Horror are the only two movies that ever scared me. But
those are
Kane
two good movies. Yeah.
in 2003, I was hiding under the bed, my brother.
Uh, so he's here. He's got the towel over his head, which I always thought was a good look. I miss when he would come out with the chains. That was to me like when he was like from a mental institution essentially,
Yeah.
and they were like, we have to chain him up. I thought that did
Those nails.
wonders for his character. Paul Bear's here. He's got some druids. The gong hit is
Woo!
electric.
You're not gonna win, Kane.
I like that you sound like Mickey Mouse.
It's what Paul Bear sounds like. He just sounds like a southern Mickey Mouse.
You're not wrong because Mickey's like this, and then oh yes,
Hey,
my
Undertaker.
Undertaker. I could do Paul Bear and Dusty Rhodes impressions till the fucking cows come home.
I could do the same thing with Macho Man. Oh yeah.
Taker's 11-0. He's back. The gong hit is the second most electric gong hit I can think of since WrestleMania 40. Oh, that gong hit was so fucking good.
Second most electric.
Oh, it was so good.
I don't know. There's been a lot of good ones. I think in at 31 when the gong hit for his match with Bray Wyatt, that was pretty freaking electric.
I don't know, man. I'm partial to 40. We were there.
Yeah, I think 40 is kind of tame because we all thought it was going to be Austin.
That's true. But the second we all realized, we were like, oh my God. Kane does not shut up for the beginning of this match. He's like, you're dead. I killed you.
I killed you. No. And then he like goes to poke Taker because he doesn't think he's real. And Taker just unloads on him with punches. Then we get a little down the line. We got like the apron leg drop that Taker does.
Yep.
Kane is for the first like half of this match selling like he's Shawn Michaels.
He's doing great.
He is Dolph Ziggling it the fuck up right
We
now.
talked about in the last episode how we had now experienced vulnerable Kane for the first time, and then this is like scared shitless Kane, which is an entirely different version of Kane.
Kane here is acting exactly how every little brother acts when their older brother is mad at them.
100%.
Stop hurting. Don't hurt
I'm
me.
going to call mom.
They don't have a mom to call. The Undertaker killed them.
Taker wants the last ride. Kane tries to stun gun him on the rope, but is not close enough. And so Undertaker kind of hits his forehead off the top rope.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fine.
Okay
I don't want to hit my forehead off things. Like, that's fine.
I'm okay with it. Kane with a big boot, bunch of strikes, flying punch for a near fall.
Taker then steals Hogan's moves.
Big boot,
Leg drop. I was like, hell yeah, brother. Take it all.
Old school. Kane counters by grabbing the throat. Kane, after a little bit of jockeying, Kane hits a great choke slam. Taker got a lot of air on that.
Slam. Yep.
Taker does the sit up. Kane is stunned.
Kane's celebrating. I've never seen Kane celebrate up until this time. Nothing except for when he electrocuted Shane McMahon's nuts. It's the only time he was ever happy in life. He celebrates and then he looks down and Undertaker has sat up and he's like, "So that's what that feels like when
And
it's."
that was the moment that the director decided, I need this guy to star in my movie.
Taker's no selling shots from Kane, flying clothesline by Taker, and a choke slam. Taker hits a tombstone. 1, 2, 3. Kane can RIP. You know how it goes. It's not as
Yes.
bad as I remember, but I do remember being disappointed that it wasn't longer as a kid. I
Yeah.
was like,
I
"Oh,
think
that's
if they
it."
had gotten like 4 or 5 more minutes, I think
Yeah,
it would have been great.
I
But
yeah.
I thought for what it was, I thought it was a good match.
I think it's one that people were so mad at in the moment, and now I think you're right. Now there are like worse Kane Undertaker things to look at. I think that does it favors.
Yeah. It's also like we can look at it with the emotion like detached because we're not there in the moment. Like, oh my god, the Undertaker, the dead man's back, all this other
Yeah.
stuff. Like, we don't have that deflating feeling. I mean, don't get me wrong. I remember this. I was a child, but I still like remember it. My
Hmm.
brother was really excited about it. And I didn't get that sense of the pin popping everything because
Yeah.
it's not, to me it was more about Kane than it was the Undertaker. And so that match going quick, I was more upset that Kane lost. Honestly, it's like
Fair.
I'm scared of him and he lost. Why?
I don't like that. All right, we
Stockholm syndrome.
we are going to take a break. When we get back, we got a lot more weird Kane stuff to cover. Back from the break. So we're skipping over the next part, which was the "till death do us part" with Lita thing, where she got stolen away essentially,
Yep.
and it was with Kane. He got her pregnant. The Snitsky angle. It wasn't his fault, but you should also go listen to our Snitsky episode where we talk about that in detail. Um, Lita turns on Kane to join Edge. Then he starts teaming with the Big Show. So the way his teaming with the Big Show happened, I forgot because I wasn't really watching as intently at this time now because we're in 2005 at this point. That was when I really started my lull period.
Is this not 2006?
So no, the match itself goes in 2006, but 2005 is where they start
Oh,
teaming together, and it was
yeah.
because of Taboo Tuesday.
Oh, yes.
Because the three of them, so Big Show, Kane, and Shawn Michaels, were in an internet poll to decide who received a shot at the WWE Championship. Whoever lost would get the tag title shot, and they kind of like walked people to this conclusion. Shawn had more interactions with the title, and Big Show and Kane had teamed together already, so it
Yeah.
made sense to vote for Shawn.
They
Obviously,
can also lie.
they could lie. You think that Vince McMahon would lie to us? You think that wrestling is full of lies?
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are? I am. They would win the tag titles from Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. A good team.
A match
Uh,
we've covered.
they retained their titles through the remainder of 2005. And then they would have a match, or Kane would be in the Elimination Chamber match at New Year's Revolution, but was eliminated by Carlito and Chris Masters, which leads to this match at WrestleMania 22. It's Kane and the Big Show defending the tag titles against Carlito and Chris Masters, which is the opening of WrestleMania 22.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, oh, WrestleMania 22 sucked. Okay.
So,
Because I don't remember much about it other than the Rey Mysterio triple threat where
yep.
Rey wins, and then Cena Triple H.
Yeah.
And aside from that, I don't remember anything on the card. Like, is that like Mark Henry and
So,
Undertaker?
WrestleMania 22
Is that the
is
casket match?
Undertaker, Mark Henry. It's Shawn versus Vince. It's Ray
Oh
winning the triple
God.
threat. It's Cena, Triple H. It is Edge Foley, the hardcore match. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah, that's a
nice.
good one. It's a match of the
Um,
night.
it's RVD winning Money in the Bank. So that's nice.
Okay. That's a good
Um,
one. The first few WrestleMania Money in the Banks were real
we're
good.
really good. I'm surprised that the first music we hear at WrestleMania 22 is Carlito.
Why are you surprised?
I don't know, man, but that's cool. Like, that's
Put in
cool.
what is it? That's cool.
That's cool. Chris Masters' entrance is too fucking long. I know it's the point. It's too long.
Annoying. And then he does the thing. He's got the little like tarp, whatever the fuck that thing is that he puts
Cape.
over himself. Cape. Then he goes like that, and it's gone. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, what was the point of the cape?
That was the point of the cape. What are you, superhero?
Kane hits a drop kick.
Kane does a leapfrog and a dropkick in the first 30 seconds of WrestleMania. And I was like, what is going on? This is such a, we are only 4 years removed from this man having a mask and learning to speak.
We now know what inspired Keith Lee
We have
and
strayed from the
and
Lord's light.
Dijak and all the big men nowadays who are doing flippy shit. It was Kane.
Pretty sure it was Bam Bam Bigelow.
It was Kane.
Big Show does his great corner chop to Masters, and he truly shushes the whole arena.
Yeah.
You can't hear shit.
These guys are over, man. Listen, we can make jokes about this being the opening match to WrestleMania, but all 4 dudes in this match are over.
Are very over. I was very surprised.
And I can tell you that for a fact, because guess what? I was there. Not in person, but I remember it. This was the height of my wrestling fandom, damn
I
it.
did watch this WrestleMania. I think this is one of the last WrestleManias I watched live. I think I watched 23 live as well, and then I fell off until 30.
I wasn't able to watch a lot of these live unless I went to my cousin's house and prayed that they had bought it, because we was Poe.
All of my allowance money went to my older brother, who then sent it to my mom.
I did not get an allowance, so
so back into the action. Where am I? Big Show just literally tossing around Carlito and Masters. Throws Carlito out of the ring onto Masters. Kane goes up top, hits his double strike thing off the top rope. And I was like, I think Carlito and Chris Masters are going to get no offense in this match.
They're going to get cooked. Show goes head first into an exposed turnbuckle, gets hit with a double flapjack for a near fall. Kane with a tame hot tag. I give it like a 4.
Yeah, it's not a hot tag.
It's not even a hot tag.
It's
actually a 4 is a little disrespectful to my rankings here. It's like a 3.
Yeah, it's a 3.
It's nice. It's just not a hot tag. There's no heat behind it.
The most exciting spot of this match so far. Kane goes up, misses that strike, and Chris Masters immediately locks in the Master Lock. And I forgot how legit the Master Lock was for a long time. Like the crowd is immediately like, "Oh fuck!"
He's a big boy, and only like who was the first person to break it? Was it Lashley or was it?
It was Lashley. It was Lashley.
Those are like the only 2 guys to break it, and those 2 guys in 2006. Come on.
Now, I would also like to point out that Chris Masters, going by the name Chris Adonis, just dropped my local Indies world title. Yeah, this past weekend, one of the local guys here, whose name I forget, but
so some loser. All right, cool.
Whoa, disrespecting to the Northern Ontario wrestling scene.
That is exactly what I'm gonna do. Yes, we're alienating.
How dare you?
We're alienating a very small suburban, not even urban. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's just sub section of society.
This is disrespectful. I got to turn on the whole state of Massachusetts now. Carlito hits
we're champions, man.
Big Show breaks up the Master Lock with a thrust kick, and then Carlito hits a backstabber to Kane, which Jim Ross does not know how to call.
At all, which is weird because Carlito's been up for a long time. He's also on Raw, so he's under Jim Ross's like watch, like he's watching his matches and stuff. Has no clue.
Jim Ross is like, it's type of backbreaker. I'm like, dude, it's got a name.
Truly, the beginning of the end for JR is around the mid 2000s. It sucks.
Big Show tries to chokeslam Carlito, and Masters just chop blocks him.
Yep. And then Masters accidentally hits Carlito with an axe handle off the middle rope. Kane knocks him out of the ring, hits a chokeslam on Carlito. 1, 2, 3. The big men retain.
They would lose the titles the very next night.
What?
Do you remember who to?
The Hardy Boys?
Kenny and Mikey of the Spirit Squad.
It's even worse.
During their rematch the next week, Kane would snap because of voices in his head, and he would get disqualified. Now, the voices in his head were because of the date, May 19th.
Oh, it wasn't because of Randy Orton?
It was not those voices. He says, it's happening again. They're all going to know. And then he beat the ever-loving shit out of Rey Mysterio on a SmackDown on May 19th as JBL's handpicked opponent for Mysterio. And then learned that May 19th was the date that his mother and adoptive family were killed in a fire. Yes. It actually was, of course, a tie into See No Evil, because that's what the May 19th, it was the release date of See No Evil, I believe.
Yeah.
Now,
my favorite thing about the Big Show Undertaker run, or Big Show Kane run together, was that one backstage segment where someone like beat up and let left Big Show lying, and Kane comes to the back and he just puts on his overacting hat, just right on. He's like, "Get or show, show,
I will say Kane's acting range tends to be maniacal laughter and screaming as loud as he can.
show,"
Those are his two things.
or incredibly funny.
The May 29th episode of Raw. I forgot that the May 19th thing leads into this fucking thing, which is Imposter Kane.
Oh my god, yeah.
Imposter Kane, played by, do you remember?
Doc Gallows.
It is Luke Gallows, Doc Gallows. Chokeslam Kane during his match against Shelton Benjamin. Then they had a match against Vengeance, which the real Kane lost. And then on June 26th, Raw, Kane just threw the old one out and was like, I believe this is mine, taking his mask from him. And then was off TV for 2 months to go promote the Europe release of See No Evil.
Don't you just love it when a plan comes together?
Sure do. We're going to skip over the whole Brothers of Destruction reunion in 06-07. We're also
It
gonna
wasn't good.
We're also going to skip
really
over
wasn't good.
his ECW championship run in
Another
08
thing that
and
wasn't
09.
good.
No. Instead, we're going to go.
Great chokeslam on Chavo, though.
Instead, we're going to go to him being world champion. He was world champion. How did he win the World Heavyweight Championship? Do you
He
remember?
won Money in the Bank. He cashed in on Rey Mysterio the same night that Rey won the title at SummerSlam?
No.
He cashed in the same night, yeah.
Yeah. He held the title or the Money in the Bank contract for 47 minutes. The record for fastest cash in.
And then he would proceed to have a feud with his brother.
He then he accused Mysterio of putting the Undertaker in a vegetative state. And then at SummerSlam, retained the world title against Mysterio. Undertaker appeared. Kane was revealed as Undertaker's attacker and was turned heel, and which we're all like, yeah, obviously. Of course, that's what he did. Then it all leads to a match where there's a buried alive match, and Kane defeated Undertaker once again and buried him with help from the Nexus. I did not remember either.
Dude, it's one of the worst things ever.
We move instead to a fatal four-way match at TLC. It is a TLC match, of course, and it is Kane defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Rey Mysterio, Alberto Del Rio, and Edge.
Decent collection of workers, not gonna lie. Interesting pairings for a TLC match.
This is a universe mode generated main event if I've ever seen one.
You know, I will say the only reason I picked this is because I went through Kane's Pro Fight DV for the star ratings, and this was like the highest one for like a lot of time.
Really?
This is 4.25 stars.
I think that's fair. I think like it's a really good match.
This was a really good match. I enjoyed it.
I think in terms of like spectacle, I would say this is probably the match to watch this week. Aside from our next match, I think our next match is actually the most fun.
Our next match was the highest rated of of all the matches he has, pretty much from the Unmasking to the end of his career.
That tracks.
But aside, like this was like second.
A couple things about the entrances. Tony Chimmel is introducing the match and says whoever climbs the ladder and gains custody of the title will be World Heavyweight Champion. Commentary immediately roasts him, and I guarantee Rey Mysterio starts getting flashbacks. He's like, custody? A ladder?
Ugh.
Dominic.
Fuck's Vicky.
Also, Alberto Del Rio does not work if you do not have Ricardo Rodriguez and the car. I mean it.
Alberto Del Dipshit does not work at all.
Alberto Del Rio worked. We have to acknowledge that it worked with Ricardo Rodriguez and the cars. That is
it doesn't work. Just doesn't ever work.
I think it did. I think it
never
did
works at all.
He sucks as a person. I'm not denying that.
Terrible guy. Remember when he was at an indie a couple months ago?
Yes.
Like there was video of him at like some indie, and there was like 5 people.
Yes. It made
deserved.
It made me feel joy I haven't felt since Brady retired. I think.
Which time?
The for real time. Because the first time I didn't believe it. I was
Why'd you feel joy?
Because I hate Tom Brady.
Yeah, but what the hell has he done to you?
Everything.
He's never. Have the Packers ever faced him in any capacity?
Oh, we face him all the time whenever the schedule lines up. I just don't like him.
Once every 3 years in the regular season.
You know how there's just some people you just don't like? Tom Brady, one of those people. Just didn't like him.
He's also not like an unlikable human being.
I think he's super smug and arrogant. I think he's
just a fucking airhead. I don't know.
I think the man needs to eat a strawberry. All right. I think he needs to just enjoy life a little bit. I think he needs to chill out.
It's like, remember when Dean Ambrose and Finn Balor had like a weird little backstage thing, and Ambrose just gave him a donut. He said, "Here, eat some carbs."
Yeah, I mean, Finn Balor does need to eat some carbs. And Bill Belichick needs to stop dating people that could be his granddaughter.
She's younger than me.
Yes, I saw a photo of the two of them in the year 2000. It was a newborn baby, and it was Bill Belichick, I believe, being a defensive coordinator or head coach. I was like, oh, he's
Yeah, it was
balding.
the head coach of the Patriots.
Ooh, all right. There's a
Like
lot of good spots in this match.
50. Kane goes for Edge. Del Dipshit goes with Ray. Kane and Edge big boot each other at the same time. I always love it when that's a spot.
I just was thrilled Edge could get his foot all the way up there. Like, good job, Edge.
Oh, he's not 50.
No. I mean, just Kane's a big guy, and it was a legit
Edge is
like
in his mid 30s at that
boot to
point, man.
face. I'm not saying it was because I'm just saying because of the height difference, not because of anything bad.
Del Dipshit tips the ladder, sends Ray onto Edge and Kane.
Yep.
Ray gets back into the mix, hits a drop toe hold on Del Dipshit onto a ladder that's like propped up in the corner. Ray hits with the same ladder, does a ladder assisted like seated senton.
I love that spot. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, execution to Kane, and then Kane just starts clearing out the Mexicans.
Yeah, he sends Mysterio face first into a corner ladder when Mysterio tries his like wheelbarrow bulldog setup. He like puts his legs around Kane and then lifts up, and Kane just flattens him onto a ladder.
Yeah, that's exactly what Glenn wants to do to him.
Glenn living the gimmick.
Truly, they all gang up on Kane, as you should. He's the big man.
He's
in
the biggest
a ladder
guy.
match.
Yeah.
Edge climbs the ladder, dives to put Kane through a freaking table.
Which Mysterio suggested, and then Mysterio's like, great, Edge is also now down, runs up the ladder, and they have one of the really big ladders, like the super tall one, where if you get to like the third highest rung, you can reach the thing. Rey Mysterio has never looked smaller. What is going on? He looks like an infant.
He's a small guy.
I know, we're the same height, but like,
are you?
I think so. Ray's 5'6", right?
Oh yeah, I always forget you're 5'6".
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It never really if it makes you feel better, it always seems like you're taller than 5'6".
It's one of my favorite things from university. I remember it so vividly. My friend's walking home with me. She's been my friend at this point for 3 years. She just turns to me and she goes, "You're short." I was like, "Yeah." She's, for context too, she's about 5'2". And she goes, "I never noticed that." I was like, "Thank you." She goes, "You don't have short guy energy." I was like, "What's short guy energy?" She's like, "Short guys try really hard. You don't." And I was like, "I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but I'm going to take it as one." She goes, "I mean it as a compliment." So I'll take it.
Interesting thing to say to someone.
But you are not the only person to be like, I forget that you're not like that.
No,
you're 5'6".
No, here's the thing. It's not like I'm thinking, oh, my brother's 6'5",
7 foot tall, and you can't teach that.
No, I'm always like, oh, he's probably like 5'7", 5'8", maybe 5'7" sounds about right, maybe somewhere in that mix. But no, 5'6", damn. Tough, man.
The Lord knew I was too powerful if I was like 5'10". He's like, listen, he
took your height and your hairline.
He's like, I gotta fuck this guy up somehow. We're gonna push his hairline all the way back here as a child. All right, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna make him yay big.
My blood's had a 6-inch forehead since he was 5 years old.
I remember somebody being like, well, the forehead is you can put 4 fingers on it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I got
damn.
Yeah, see? Look at you.
Wow.
Oh, there's more room. It's the way she goes, baby.
This is how you know Evan used to be a stand-up comedian. It's because he's able to laugh at himself.
Yeah. I also learned that if I made fun of other people and myself first, the bullies couldn't. And I was like, you can't say anything worse than I've already said about myself. All right?
That's the whole premise of the final rap in 8 Mile.
Exactly. I'm just like B-Rabbit.
Is that Eminem, or is that the one that shoots himself?
That's Cheddar Bob who shoots himself. I do have some friends who are like Cheddar Bob.
I haven't seen 8 Mile since I was 7. So
you don't go back every like year or so and watch Anthony Mackie get eviscerated in that last rap battle? Because I do.
No, see, if I wanted that to happen, I would just watch Avengers Infinity War.
All right. So Rey Mysterio looks small. Anyways, Edge spears Del Rio. He spears Mysterio. He's climbing the ladder. Kane breaks it up, shoves him off, and crotches Edge on the top rope.
Rey climbs table that was propped up on the stage.
So they have the way
Like
that the
hanging
arena
tables.
is set up is they have hanging ladders, chairs, and tables
This
for
is
the
the same pay-per-view where John Cena like pulls on the chair one and all of them fall on top of Wade Barrett.
yes. And Ray climbs one of the tables that's there because he's so light that it's not going to fall anyways, and dives off that. I was like, I love that Ray's got like unique offense you can just find. He's like, I'm small enough to do this. That's
Is
cool.
that what you would do if you were a wrestler?
I would cry in a corner if I was a wrestler. I would shit my pants and pass away. Like, what are we doing? I would, you know what I would be? I would be Drew Carey in the 2001 Royal Rumble.
Jesus Christ.
I would try to pay people.
Who, if you had to have a match, like you had a year to prepare as a wrestler,
Yep.
you could have a match against anybody, and it has to be an actual wrestling match.
Okay.
It's going to go 10 minutes.
Okay. Do we count Stokely?
Not anymore.
Damn it, because that was
Managers do not count unless they are actual wrestlers.
okay.
Like
Yeah.
Maxine Dupree, you can take. But no intergender matches, please.
I am going to pick.
Anyone in wrestling.
I'm going to pick Kalisto.
Kalisto.
Yes.
Not even like Rockstar Spud. You chose Kalisto.
I feel bad punching Drake Maverick in the face. He's kind.
There's less of an injury risk with him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Ryback. I'll go out swinging.
The way that I'm gonna put Braun Strowman down is crazy. I'm taking the biggest, baddest dude I can, and I'm forcing him to put me over.
That doesn't work. That doesn't work for me, brother. Ray hits a 619 to Del Rio. Goes for an Edge. Edge blocks it with a chair.
Just brutal.
Yeah, Mysterio and Edge both end up on the big ladder. They facebuster each other off the top of the ladder so everyone's down. This leads to a good spot with Ricardo Rodriguez. He goes to check on Del Rio. He looks at the ladder, looks at Del Rio, and it's like, oh, and gets up there and tries to get it and gets caught by Kane, who chokeslams him so hard.
Yeah, and then we get a chokeslam to Del Dipshit. We get a chokeslam to Edge on the apron.
Through a table that I didn't know was there. And I was like, oh, shit.
Ray clears Kane out. Yeah. Climbs. Del Dipshit stops him, brings him down, and puts on a cross arm breaker.
Del Rio really just bullying Mysterio this whole match.
Yeah, it's like not even fun anymore.
He's like, listen, if I don't win, I'm gonna at least ruin your day.
It's like, why can't you take out the white men? Why you gotta take out your fellow, your raza?
Del Rio does this the way that I play Call of Duty, where I'm like, look, I'm not gonna win, but I'm gonna fuck your day up.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna make you go through all your plates. I'm gonna down you. Like I'm gonna just ruin your shit.
Oh, we're playing gun game, and you think I'm not gonna knife you?
I'm gonna knife you all the time. I'm on level 1, but I've knifed 7 people.
Yeah, I'm on level 1, but someone's on level 5 when they should be on level 10.
That's right. Del Rio goes through tables set up at ringside as Mysterio knocks him off. When he's climbing, Kane gets Mysterio while he does a moonsault. Tombstones him so hard. It's one of my favorite tombstones I've ever seen.
It's really nice. I really like it. Edge blasts Kane with chair shots.
Yes, as Kane is climbing.
Spears him off the apron.
It's a shove. Because Spear is what Big E does on the apron. This was
By the way,
shove.
It's great that you mentioned Big E. I was watching some sort of YouTube video. I don't know what I was. I saw like so many different genre of YouTube videos this morning. It's crazy. And one of them was an Old Spice commercial with a shirtless Big E.
Love it.
Where he's just in like a barrel or a hot tub or something, and he's got an Old Spice in his hand, and he's shirtless, and he's just moving his pecs and doing his stuff. Big E's a good Old Spice guy.
Big E is a great Old Spice guy.
I don't know what the other guy is. The one who is in the second Us. Jesus Christ.
The second
It movie. The one who's in the Old Spice commercials for like a decade.
Who I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. His name's Isaiah Mustafa. I went as that Old Spice guy for Halloween. I would like the record to state I did not darken my skin. I did not do blackface. I just wore a towel around my residence and drank alcohol out of an Old Spice bottle.
Okay, but how is anyone supposed to assume that you're that guy?
Old Spice bottle, towel. I knew the commercial by heart.
As opposed to like a frat guy.
Well, it's Halloween. Like, what frack is walking around in a towel?
You clearly didn't go to UMass Amherst.
I didn't. What a weird school you went to.
It's like
Anyways,
30,000 people.
Edge
Um,
wins the world title.
Edge climbs, wins title, and then has to retire 6 months later.
Whoop. All right, we're gonna take a break. When we get back, we got Team Hell No, baby. Back from the break. On the July 22nd, 2011 episode of SmackDown, after losing a street fight to Randy Orton, Kane got his shit kicked by Mark Henry. He was part of the Hall of Pain. He got inducted. That allowed him to be sidelined for 5 months, and when he came back, he was remasked and did the Embrace the Hate storyline, which sucked. Poor Zack Ryder.
Wanted no parts of that. Let me tell you something.
Kane then was part of a feud between CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, where they were all kind of feuding with AJ Lee at the same time, which was weird. And ended up it culminated in a triple threat match at No Way Out, where Punk retained the title after AJ distracted Kane. At SummerSlam, Kane was defeated by Bryan, and because of their issues, they were forced to go to Anger Management, hosted by Dr. Shelby. And we have one of those anger management skits to look at right now from the August 27th, 2012 edition of Raw.
Daniels immediately says he's not like the rest of those losers that are in the group. He's fine. Random kid comes in a goat mask. Daniel just goes, no, no, no. Says he doesn't have a goat face. He's handsome.
He's handsome.
He then berates the kid. Turns out the kid is Dr. Shelby's son, and he's the goat in a school play.
They're doing Noah's Ark. Richard is a goat.
And then he turns to the kid, and he's like, this man is sick and needs help.
Brian complains about how having AJ Lee as his boss is hard, as he's comparing bosses to Harold. Harold is having a hard time. Harold has a hard time in group therapy.
Wait, did you not notice who Harold is?
Who's Harold?
That's Scorpio Sky.
Is that Scorpio Sky?
That's Scorpio Sky.
That's so funny. I did not even recognize him. That's crazy.
Yeah, he said his former girlfriend, fiance, put him in a match with a demon, and even though Brian won, he still has to go to Anger Management. And that is a bad boss. So he doesn't see it, how it can get any worse. And then Kane comes in.
With his welder's mask on. And that they're like, can you take your mask off? And I love that he takes it off, and obviously he still has his other mask on underneath. I'm like,
It's the fruit roll-up mask.
That's so funny. Let's talk about the fruit roll-up mask. It's bad.
Here's the thing, though. I have a personal fondness to it, because I'm just like, I fucking love doing that with the fruit roll-ups, where you put it up to your face.
I understand that. I also know, because I think I've read before that it was a significantly more comfortable mask for Kane to use.
Yeah,
it was a much better build of a mask.
It looks like a more flexible mask.
Yes,
so to speak.
But it's just, I'm like, oh, that's just not the right one.
Kane
says, "I'm the devil's favorite demon" when asked to introduce himself. And Dr. Shelby goes, "That's great."
And that means he wants to know, as Dr. Shelby asks what makes him angry. He tells him to start from his childhood. And we get, in a very long, drawn-out way, Kane's entire lore.
Talks about lighting people on fire, abducting coworkers, burying his brother twice. Years ago, I had a girlfriend named Katie. That didn't go well. He's been divorced.
I have the entire thing. Do you want me to go verbatim?
Oh, my God, please.
He grew up locked in a basement, suffering severe emotional and psychological scarring when his brother set his parents on fire. From there, he sifted around a bunch of mental institutions until he was grown, at which point he buried his brother alive. Twice. Since then, he has set a couple of people on fire and kidnapped various coworkers. He once electrocuted a man's testicles. Years ago, he had a girlfriend named Katie. That didn't turn out so well. His real father is a guy named Paul Bear, who he recently trapped in a meat locker. He's been married, divorced, broke up his ex-wife's wedding and tombstoned the priest, and for reasons never quite explained, he has an unhealthy obsession with torturing Pete Rose.
Deep lore. I fucking love Kane.
It's so good. He delivers that with a straight face. It's beautiful. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in a promo.
Brian is mad because they get assigned homework, which, for those of us who've gone to therapy, sometimes they give you homework. And actually,
anger collage, man.
It's very helpful. I've never done an anger collage. I've never been to anger management. My anger is unmanaged. Just
And then
kidding.
at the end, Harold, aka Scorpio Sky, touches Kane and nearly gets choke slammed straight through the flooring at this
He puts
community
his
center.
hand on Kane's leg, and Kane's like, no.
Just-
The Team Hell No, which I didn't realize their name was decided in a Twitter poll. Weird choice. Team Hell No
It's a great name. I don't
would
even
win the
care.
tag titles off of Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, hold them during this feud with the Shield. We are looking at the Shield versus Ryback and Team Hell No from TLC 2012, a match we've covered before.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I copy and pasted my notes. Still watched the match, but I didn't want
I
to write anything.
I was not going to say it unless you said. I also went copy and paste my notes, and I still watched the match.
It's a great match. There was no way I wasn't gonna watch the match.
You
I
can
love it.
compare what we say to see if it matches up with the Shield episode that we've done before. Which I remember
Did that,
the reason we
was
did
like
the
2 years
Shield.
ago.
So it's episode 60 something. I think it's like
Uh,
or like late 50s, because it was when they stopped doing WWE Network and they were moving everything over to Peacock, and so we had no access to a lot of wrestlers.
right.
And so we did the TNA first ever pay-per-view. We did
Yeah.
Triple H's 3-parter, and we
We did
did
like
the
Beth
Shield.
Phoenix.
Yeah, because we're like, we need people we can find everything on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so the Shield, we could find enough of their matches. We're like, well, fuck, okay, we're doing the Shield, I guess.
Or they also like started off only added a certain amount.
Amount of
I think it's
time.
like the last decade or something like
Yeah,
that.
so we
was
couldn't
on
do any
there.
80s or 90s people.
Or even a lot of the 2000s, which is
Yeah.
annoying.
My
Yeah,
first note
I do
remains the
remember
same
this.
for this match. Daniel Bryan's no jacket is dope as fuck. I stand by it. It's so cool.
Mine is we stand Team Hell No, and then it's it makes sense that Ryback never won the big one.
But I also wrote, people forget Ryback is legit over as hell. People like to downplay it. It's like how people like to ignore like that Macklemore was actually very popular. They're like, no, we were never actually into it. I'm like, yes, you were.
Yeah,
It's
but here's
fine.
the
We
thing.
all make mistakes.
It's where they ended up. Like it makes sense that they ended up there because they just weren't. We all catch lightning in a bottle sometimes.
Yep.
In various different ways. Some of us just hit it big on a nice little coupon at the grocery store. Ryback got over for a couple months there, but it didn't lead to anything in the end.
Macklemore went thrift shopping. It all makes
good for
sense.
him. Something
He
about what
found
up?
a
I got a big
ebook.
cock. I don't know.
They brawl outside to start after the Shield emerged from the crowd in their tag vests. I also think it's funny because Roman Reigns ends up going down the wrong stairs.
Yeah.
So Ambrose and Rollins come down one and Reigns comes down another.
Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
Oh, Shield. There's some good spots early on. Team Hell No goes on a run, tag teaming Reigns with a ladder. Kane with a right hand to a diving Rollins, which looked good. I was trying to focus more on Kane as I was rewatching the match. He has a good spot where Rollins gets trapped in a chair and Kane just unloads on him with a chair.
Yeah.
And then Ambrose does what is like a quasi dirty deeds. He doesn't actually do the double underhook, but it's got the same snap to it, and DDT's Kane onto a chair.
Kane grabs a ladder and gets a baseball slid into his face.
Oh yeah, that was first. I forgot about that.
Ryback makes the Shield look like absolute jabrones. He's just tossing him around, slamming him around.
He
And
double
then Barclays.
suplexes Ambrose and Rollins onto a ladder at the same time.
We need to talk about the Barclays because,
Okay.
oh my god, these people are both like really hot for this match, but also really annoying.
Okay, why are they annoying?
They were just like, I don't even know how to explain. Like every time there was like they were in the like doing something. If you looked in the background, or if you look like when the wrestlers were near the like crowd, pretty much,
Yeah.
there was always people doing stupid shit.
Oh yeah.
Like trying to touch them, or like there was one instance where a kid just like went and like, I say kid, it's like a fucking 18-year-old person or a later teenager just like went and like smacked one on the back. It's like, come on,
Dude, don't do that. Don't do that.
Brian, with kicks. It's just a lot of kicks.
Yes.
Lot
Shield
of
does
kicks.
also put Ryback through the announce table with the triple powerbomb.
Yeah, which
Good
we
spot.
love that.
Brian then immediately does a suicide dive to the celebrating Shield at ringside. Then he's doing some kicks. They got some shine. Shield have the number advantage. It's too late. There's 3 of them and 2 of them. So
Do you remember what Roman said before the triple powerbomb?
what did Roman say?
Get up, fools! This is my table now. That's what he said to the announce people.
Acknowledge your tribal chief.
The crumble. The signs were always there.
That's right. It was always there.
Rollins and Ambrose double suplex off a table for near fall. Kane breaks it up.
The table is currently on the corner, so they open the table up and put it up as like a platform in the corner of the turnbuckle, which is great because Kane also goes up there and does his diving strike off that. And I was like,
Damn
that
right he
was
does.
unstable.
Spirited Kane through a barricade. After he choke slams Ambrose through a chair. It wasn't even on a chair; it was through one.
That chair fucking explodes. It's outstanding. And then Reigns spears Kane through the barricade, and I forgot how well they really showcased Reigns' power spots during this initial Shield run. He had just the coolest spots all the time.
He was so cool.
And then they made him the big dog, and that was bad. And then
he just kind of disappeared for 5 years until he came back as the tribal chief.
And he was so good.
So good.
They bury Kane at ringside.
They literally bury him.
Yeah.
We get a yes lock on Roman. Ryback's alive. He hits a meat hook. And then Rollins and Reigns just start murdering Ryback.
Yes.
They set Ryback up on a table. Rollins climbs the tallest ladder I've ever seen.
So this is up at the entryway. So they beat them all the way up to the entryway.
Yeah.
Rollins does climb the biggest ladder I've ever seen, and he waves Ambrose and Reigns to the ring. He's like, "Don't worry, guys. Ryback's out cold. I've got this." And then very quickly, Ryback wakes up. Rollins is like, "Oh, I seriously no longer have this."
Yeah, Rollins tries to just climb the ladder to get away. He starts climbing even more. Ryback catches him, flings him through the table.
Yeah.
And then we get back to the ring. We got a double power bomb on Bryan.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. The Shield win.
This was the Shield's first in-ring match, right?
Yes, it was.
What a fucking
they debuted at Survivor Series.
Yeah, what a fucking debut for them. What an outstanding match. So good. You can really see the personality in all three of these guys. And also, obviously you weren't watching for this. Kane does a really good job of selling the Shield numbers advantage.
Yes.
Kane is able to kind of take any of them one-on-one, even Reigns. There's a couple spots where Kane squares up against Reigns in this match, and it looks like he's got him. But the second there's two Shield members to deal with, Kane sells his ass off for them, which was the whole part of the Shield. They were stronger as a unit. They had the numbers advantage. They would always figure it out that way. That was the whole purpose of the beginning of the Shield. And so, really well done. Really well done in this match.
I love it.
So, some things would happen. Kane and Bryan would lose the tag titles to the Shield at Extreme Rules in May.
And then Kane went capitalist.
So they had a 245-day reign with it. Kane then had a feud with the debuting Wyatt family, which included an Inferno match. That was neat. Then Kane leaves to film See No Evil 2, returns as corporate Kane, helps Seth Rollins a lot.
There was a second one?
There was a second one.
Wow.
Kane has like 5 different appearances in films. See No Evil.
Yeah.
MacGruber.
I knew that.
Scooby-Doo WrestleMania Mystery as himself.
I think that's an animated one.
It is. See No Evil 2.
Okay.
And he's in the movie Countdown with Dolph Ziggler.
Is that the one where Rusev's going to shoot him?
The only thing that everyone knows is that Rusev pulls a gun on him in that movie.
It's funny because he kayfabe slept with his wife. So.
Yes. It is funny. So yeah, then he comes back as Corporate Kane, which both of us don't like.
It's the slacks and the messed up hair and everything is just bad.
But at this point, Kane has been turned on by Rollins, and so he has returned as Demon Kane. And they were doing this weird thing where they were like, there's 2 different Kanes. One is Demon Kane and one is Corporate Kane.
Yeah.
And Rollins was like, you're the same guy.
Yeah. And at one point they like used the I'll never forget when he re-debuted as the masked one. So Corporate Kane got the ankle shatter spot with the chair. Yeah. Rollins did that. Rollins and J&J did that to him. Yeah. And then later on, he came back in an ambulance and he comes out the back and he's Demon Kane.
Yep.
I was like, oh, Demon Kane's back.
Yeah, he's just got powers? Question mark?
He's a demon.
These demon powers. I'm on demon time. This is what Beyonce's singing about. Okay, I get it now.
It's Kane. You know?
Kane's going to start an OnlyFans. That's what I've learned here. You know those lyrics.
I think Glenn would be against that.
I think Glenn would be very against that in public. Um,
Oh,
all right, so this leads to a WWE Championship match between Kane and Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell 2015. If Kane loses, Corporate Kane loses his role as Director of Operations, which is one of the most bogus titles of anything I've ever heard. Just direct the operations. So the operations directed, great. Here's a lot of money.
I'll take that job.
I'll take that job.
You
Don't
know.
get me wrong. I'll take that job. I've said many times, I'm so excited for when we sell out eventually. It's going to be the best.
Oh yeah. Am I technically you would be the director of operations for the podcast?
Yes.
Am I the COO? Does that make me the chief content officer?
I mean,
CCO?
yeah,
What the fuck
yeah.
was Triple H's thing?
COO, Chief Operating Officer.
Oh, what's the content? There's a content officer one.
You can be Content Officer.
Word.
Word. Yeah.
I'll take that.
You're also Executive Producer. And God, everyone knows it's exciting to be an Executive Producer.
And shout out to my boy Elon, who is also an executive producer, for giving us his Peacock account.
That's true. A constant Executive Producer credit.
Yes, shout out to Elon. You're
Um,
not listening, but shout out.
this match is bad, right?
It's not good.
It's not WWE Championship in 2015 good. That's
Oh,
for
it
sure.
very much is WWE Championship in 2015 good. Let me tell you something. Listen,
I wanted better for the
I,
WWE title.
as someone who's very fond of Seth Rollins' run in 2015, I loved it. The stuff with John Cena, a masterpiece. The Ambrose little mini feud, incredible. It had some real duds, man.
It did have some. They
It
didn't know. I
had
don't think they
some
knew what to
real
do because
duds.
they really wanted to hold off on Rollins versus Trips
Reigns.
and on Rollins versus Reigns. Like those were two
Well,
angles
they
that
were
were.
still building up the Rollins Triple H thing
I know, but
for
it
a
just feels
long
like
time.
those were two like spots you could go. You know,
Yeah, and
those
this was all going to culminate in a Shield triple threat at WrestleMania.
which we
That
got
was
at
the initial plan.
Battleground instead.
Yes, after Roman had popped for some sort of medication.
Yeah, weird
For some
times.
reason.
Kane early on has the power. Rollins knocks him off the top rope. Rollins does a senton tope to Kane at ringside. Kane with right hand. Rollins gets Kane in the corner. Kane misses a big boot. Is hung up there. A lot of Rollins is using his speed. Like that's this whole
Yeah,
match.
like a neck breaker while holding Kane's hair. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that.
The fake jet black hair on Kane's mask is fucking wild in this era. He just has like the longest, straightest black hair coming off of his mask. He looks like he's a Kiss member.
You know what the worst part is? Is
The
that we know he has no hair.
we know he's got no hair.
We know, and yet they're still doing that for some freaking reason. I would have loved to see a Kane mask with no hair.
Like just the mask with the bald head, or like a full head
It's
mask,
a full head mask.
like the welder mask. If you fucking wrestled in that,
That might be a little too thick.
might be a little too thick.
That's looking like a, what the hell is the Tron? That's looking like a Tron mask, you know? Like
That's fair.
it's a helmet. That's a whole ass motorcycle helmet right there. I'm talking like just like a freaking, I don't know, like Daredevil. I know he's got the full fit. It's not just a
Yeah.
mask,
Yeah.
but like a mask like that kind of thing. I honestly just give him the Daredevil mask. Period. Little horns.
Listen, Kane, we're gonna blind you. Kane hits a choke slam. Rollins kicks out. Tombstone attempt. Rollins scurries to the outside. We get a sidewalk slam onto the announce table that does not break it. Ooh. Then we get another weird spot that does not break the table. So Kane is going for a choke slam from one table onto the other. Rollins slips down through his legs and powerbombs Kane onto the other announce table. And Kane legitimately bounces off it like a basketball.
Yeah. Bounced off that motherfucker. The second
Boing.
landing was not fun for him. Let
No.
me tell you something.
No.
We get a Kane barely makes the count back.
Yes.
We get a springboard knee from Rollins, another one, a blackout kick, another one, and then the frog splash for a near fall, and then he finally hits the pedigree. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins retains. Kane
Loses his job.
doesn't. Kane loses his job. He loses everything, or does he?
No, because he would still wrestle. He'd still have some jobs to do. He doesn't really do much after this in terms of his professional wrestling career
Really
because he would be mayor of Knox County, Tennessee by 2018, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, and
He
this
runs
campaign was
in.
like an entire year or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He announced his campaign in March of 2017, one in May of 2018. He would still make some appearances in wrestling, like I mentioned. He had some tag team reunions following his role in the Authority. Like he did another run with Big Show, and they feuded with the Wyatt family for a little bit, which I remember being really weird. Um, he then has another match with he rejoined with Daniel Bryan for a little bit, which was interesting. They had a little Team Hell No reunion in 2018, which I forgot about until I was doing the
I
research for
also
this.
forgot about
Yeah,
that.
and then there was, of course, the 2018 match at
We don't talk about that.
no, I'm just not going to talk about it. He would be inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2021, and then
Kane was inducted?
Kane was inducted as part of the class of 2021.
I forgot about that completely.
How could you name any member from the 2021 class?
No,
That's fair.
I couldn't even. I don't even remember who got inducted last year, brother.
So the 2021 class,
I
you
couldn't
look
even tell you the 2023 class. Like,
Kane's the headliner. Rob Van Dam got
oh, good for
inducted.
him.
The Great Khali,
Oh my guy,
Eric Bischoff, Molly Holly,
love it.
and then the celebrity was Ozzy Osbourne.
Interesting.
Yeah. Kane would, of course, then he's retired now, and now he's just the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, and he has some things that you and I don't agree with, and that's why we donate to Pride organizations during Pride. Happy Pride to everyone who celebrates. What did you think doing the full retrospective on Kane?
Just a powerhouse. Just a guy who had a level of explosion as an athlete and as a big man and knew how to use it. He's a really methodical worker, but not in the way that we're used to talking about on this podcast, like a Brad
Yeah,
or
not a
whatever.
technical methodical, but like
Yeah,
a power
like
methodical.
like a powerful, like yes, like you mentioned there, in like a powerful way. Like
Yeah.
he knows exactly when to turn it on, exactly what
Yes.
to do, what exactly how to sell one thing. Like it really does seem like he's a guy who puts a lot of thought when he's performing out there. Like he's like, I have to sell this. I'm going to sell this in this way for this long, doing this stuff before I have to do this. Like if
Yeah.
I'm no selling, yeah, I'm no selling, but I'm not going over the top with the no selling because I still have to make my opponent look, good while doing it. Like I've never seen someone in wrestling no sell and somehow still make their opponent look good. Like Kane does,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. No, Kane does a good job. I also, obviously, the whole first episode, we didn't see Kane sell once. And then last
Yeah.
episode, we saw him sell a little bit. And like, specifically that tag match, he's got some good selling in here. The way that Kane can sell is really good. He can sell for little guys, especially, so well. And I think that's like the mark of a good big man. Obviously, not always going to be matched up against a big man. You got to make young, like smaller guys look good. Because
Yeah.
obviously, if this is a shoot fight, everyone's going to assume that you're going to just squash these guys like bugs.
Destroy them.
So the way that he makes them look good is always feels really genuine. Like, doesn't matter if it's Ray, doesn't matter if it's Rollins, doesn't matter if it's any smaller guy. He's going to make them look good, which I think is great.
Yeah.
The thing I like most about Kane is the amount of backstory and lore and how it influences other storylines later on. The fact that he keeps going back to feuds with the Undertaker, if they're good or not, is not the point. The fact that there's always stuff to pull on, they don't forget stuff. The way that he
Hey,
interacts with
brothers,
Paul
man.
Bearer, the consistent things with Big Show, the way that his psyche can sometimes snap, the way that
Yeah.
but also the way that he like genuinely, you can understand why he gets so many random tag teams because he just wants friendship.
Yes.
Like, I think that's cool. Like,
Just wants to be
obviously,
acknowledged,
he's
man.
drawn to these nice, like Hurricane, Rob Van Dam, just nice
X
people.
Pac.
Well, I mean, X Pac was kind of a shithead the whole time, but
But he was his
he was
first
he
friend.
was his shit. Exactly, he's telling him how to talk. You telling me you wouldn't be friends with somebody who taught you how to talk,
He helped him get his first girlfriend.
and then stole that same girlfriend? Uh, Honestly, the summary that Kane gives of his career in the anger management thing just shows the absurdity of
Spot
him
on.
and how wonderful of a character he is. Um,
Yeah.
there's obviously never going to be another wrestler like Kane,
No.
but I'm glad we continue to still do spooky stuff. Like the Wyatt Six just debuted the week that this is recording.
Yeah. And they
I'm
seemingly today just messed up the
Pat
Pat
McAfee.
McAfee show. He's like
I
turned it off for a while.
I don't know why they killed multiple wrestlers, but I'm excited to figure out how that turns out.
Actually, I think it was Arn Anderson that killed Chad Gable. He just saw
Well,
all the chaos going on and saw, opportunity to shoot someone.
Oh, so it's just like One Tree Hill. That's what you're saying. Just
Yeah,
that he's Dan.
yeah, he full on danned it.
He killed Keith.
Yeah,
Um,
he got Keith.
he got Keith. Kane got Keith. All right. Next week we're all done with this three-parter, which is exciting because it's always good to do the full scope of someone's career. But we go back to our one-off episodes next week. Next week is a wrestler that I believe a lot of people have heard of, however, don't know just the extent of how long and storied his career
Ooh,
truly is. So we are going to
I'm
give a
interested.
very good overview of someone who has been in WWE, ECW, CMLL, All Japan, and New Japan, and is currently
Oh,
still in New Japan. Taka
oh,
Michinoku.
we're doing Taka.
We're doing Taka next week.
I like that. I have
Yes,
not seen enough Taka. That's on like I know that's on me more than anything, but like pretty much the full extent of my Taka Michinoku run was, or like knowledge is his entire WWE stuff, and then
Kai and
like
Tai.
when he first reemerged in New Japan a few years
Yes.
ago.
So we're going to talk light heavyweight championship. We're going to talk Kai and Tai. We're going to talk. He's got some spots in All Japan, and then he's been in New Japan since 2007. I think a lot of people who follow the Attitude Era who don't follow Japanese wrestling will be surprised to know that Taka is still doing it. Also, the fact that when he first came over and was in WWF, he was 24 years old. He was he'd started wrestling in 92, but like he truly was brand new. He started wrestling at 19 and he had made the WWF as part of
Fuck did that happen?
I know, isn't that wild? So I'm so excited because, of course, my level of talking to Michinoku knowledge is pretty much restricted to I've seen the random one-offs he's done in ECW and
I
his
don't
Kai
know
and Tai
that.
run. So to be able to expand on that knowledge, I'm excited. I always love when we go to Japan too, to get some fucking banger matches.
Yes.
So I know that's coming. So it's gonna be Taka Michinoku next week. You should follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Crossbody of Work. You should follow Javier wherever he tells you right now.
I'm on the Twitter machine at JMello Sports. Lob the boy a follow.
Follow me as well at It's Evan Gomes, ITSEVANGOMES. You should rate the podcast 5 stars wherever you're listening and be sure to hit subscribe so you can always get these episodes when they drop. Hey, tell a friend who likes wrestling about the podcast. That we appreciate that so much. And even tweet at us or tell us in the comments, hey, I told some friends about the podcast. I brought them on board. We would appreciate that endlessly. If you would like some of the cool merch that we're rocking, I got the hat. I got the old shirt. You can't get this anymore, but I got the hat and Javier's got the shirt. You can check out the merch link in the show notes or in the description of the YouTube video. If you're on YouTube, hit thumbs up, hit subscribe, all those things. We cannot tell you all how much we appreciate getting comments from people, hearing that you're
Yes.
listening to the podcast. Shout out to King Chad. We continue to be on his Monday rotation.
My
Shout
goat.
out to Crispy Chris, always being in the comments. Shout out to everybody who's
Goat.
been listening and sharing with their friends. We appreciate it endlessly.
Yes.
That is all the stuff in terms of the housekeeping that we always put at the end. It's time for everyone's favorite part of the podcast. Javier, any final words for the people? For those of you not watching on YouTube, Javier has held up the Boston Celtics shirt.
This is one of those little towels.
Oh, it's a towel. Because
The
you're
Boston Celtics are NBA champions
yes.
of 2024. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you knew this, but I am very much more chipper today than I have been in probably any recording we've ever had. And that is because I've never felt better. 16 years. 16.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
many
good.
times we would get near the end or to the end and we'd fuck it
Yep.
until finally, fucking finally, we win the title. You don't understand. It was such a relief. I sat on my couch, like just fucking shell shocked for like 2 hours before it finally kicked in. And then like I started crying and shit.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things. Like I care about my sports teams way too much, but I care
Fair.
about the Celtics way too much.
Yes.
Like they held literally, like if the Celtics lost an important game, my day was ruined. Like it's one of those
I would
things where
equate
like it just
your
ruins it for me.
so for me, that same feeling you had when the Celtics won was how I felt when the Packers won the Super Bowl in
No,
2010.
but no one cares about that. So like to
Everyone should care.
me, when this happened, it's kind of like it. Yes, I'm very happy, and it was like super cathartic and all this stuff. But like for me personally, it was more so like the stress is just gone. Like, I know I don't have to worry about this for the rest of my life. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I've seen a title before, but I was in the fourth grade. Like, it's different. Whereas now it's more like, man, it's just off my shoulders. Like, all of my sports teams, I've completely given up on the Vikings. The Vikings are never winning a Super Bowl. Like, I am resigned to that fact. So
Y-
I don't
y-
feel any stress about that. But
You and your negative aura QB, JJ McCarthy.
I've seen it, he fucking bounced the first pitch, man. You know how hard it is to be a quarterback and not be able to throw something? Like, what are we doing here? Anyways, I say I've given up on that pipe dream. I've seen the Red Sox win 4 times. I saw the Celtics win as a kid. I've now seen it when I'm like an adult and fully care and fully understand what's going on. I get to go to the parade tomorrow, Friday,
Woo!
as of this recording or whatever. Um, and more than anything, it's just a matter of I'm done. Like, I've reached it. I've reached the end.
You've
You
done it.
know, I'm gonna continue being a fan. I'm gonna continue to care massively, but not as much as I do now.
That
Thankfully,
is
that's good
fair.
for my mental health.
It's good for the mentees. It's good for the mentees. No, there is no better feeling than when your sports team finally wins. Like when your
Yes,
team
you had it
wins.
with Toronto 5 years ago.
Yeah, and this thing is like I'm not even a big Raptors fan. Like that's why I equated it to when the Packers won because like the Packers win to me was like I was nobody could tell me shit for a
Fucking
week.
loser.
Nobody could tell me anything for a week. I was like nothing matters. The Packers won, so we're
Yeah,
all cool. But I'm very excited for you. Very happy for you. I'm very happy for Peyton Pritchard. Just picked a random Celtic.
I love how I don't know what happened in the dead time of game 4 because I wasn't really watching in the fourth
Yeah.
quarter when they put it on the scrubs. But I love how the only two main baskets that Peyton Pritchard had were the two half court shots that he made.
Quality over quantity, baby. That's what he was all about. All right. We are back next week to talk about Taka Michinoku. We hope you have a wonderful week. We will talk to you then.
Later.